We got a guest, Strapped Up P from Strapped Up TV. You want to get a listener a little bit about yourself, tell them about yourself, what you do.
Hey everybody, so I'm Strapped Up P. I'm in Mobile, Alabama, and my main objective is just to bring awareness that you can be a black man or a black woman and own a gun. The stigma behind black people owning guns has always been so harsh. So I'm a Second Amendment activist. I preach self-defense, and my main goal is to just show people that you can be armed, that you can be a good guy or a good woman, and defend yourself. Self-defense is always important. In America, black people are so undefended, you know what I'm saying? So, it's just important to always, try to, defend yourselves and, be prepared. You may never have to use a weapon, but that one time that you leave it at home or whatever, you may wish you had it. So I just want to bring awareness to the black communities, that you can own a gun, you know what I'm saying, and it's not as hard as people think.
Yeah, that's true. Even here, like we in Chicago, so like even just carrying is crazy. Just the loopholes and the obstacles that they put in front of you just to get your CCL and able to carry, and also being, I hate to say it, but everyone, being a minority, then I got a strike against because I'm black, then another one because I got hair dread. So everyone
Yeah.
then on top of that, I got tattoos. So they be like, is this guy serious? Like, is he a thug? He a gangbanger? But I'm just a, law-abiding citizen, just like everybody else that's scary. And I'm glad that you said like awareness, because a lot of people don't be aware of their surroundings. And it be crazy. I mean, you see videos after video, like on the YouTube, on social media. I was just looking at a video. A lady was jogging, and I'm looking like, okay, you turned your head, you turned back, you looked at the guy, and you proceeded not to like run like to the left or to the right. You just continue to straight, like, okay, I know it's your morning jog or your morning routine, but you gotta understand a lot of people sit back and they know your routine. They know when you get up, they know when you leave your house. So I mean, at some point when I was growing up, my mom was like, "Oh, we're not leaving out the front, we're leaving out the back." And it was crazy because when we got our first place, they was like, "We never saw y'all leave out the front." So like they literally was watching us leave out the back. Like they have to leave the house for something. They have to leave the house for groceries. They got to leave the house to, go to work, get the kids. But they never saw us leave out the front. And it shocked them one day when they did see us. So people always
And
watch.
you was talking about a woman was jogging, that might have been her routine. You never know if someone is watching you, stalking you, trying to keep up on your whereabouts. So, that's why just having self-awareness is so important, and 9 times out of 10, your first defense is being aware of the situation. I think a lot of people, they don't realize that you could maybe stop something just because you were aware and you saw it, finna happen before it happens. A lot of guys that people that tend to want to do harm to you, they want to do it while you're at your, while you're not paying attention. You're at your most vulnerable. And if you're aware, and you're ready and prepared, that just, takes down the advantage of, surprise. So it's just always important to be aware.
I agree. Coming from Chicago, Cape Town, the hood or whatever, I'm always watching my surroundings when I'm driving in the grocery store parking lot, coming into the house. I'm always watching like what's going on around me. Make sure before I get out the car, nobody is walking past, or just being aware. And it's crazy because like I'll be driving to work, and one day I was driving to work and I was on the phone with my sister, and I think the lady by herself jogging. The sun is not up yet. It was early morning, around like 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, oh my God, this lady is about to go jog in the woods by herself. Let me write down what she had on, how she looked, just in case, because you just never know. And it must was like, you crazy, you really about to do that? I'm like, yeah, I do it a lot. Just like when I'm driving. If I see something that looks iffy, like me and my son was actually in the store yesterday, and he was like, "Mom, this little boy was running down the aisle crying, saying, 'Mommy, mommy, mommy.'" And then some guy just walked up to him and said, "I can help you find your mom." And I'm like, "Did he work here? Did he have like a logo of the store?" He was like, "No." So me and my baby kind of walked to the front, and the guy just didn't have on his work shirt. So he was a worker, thank God. But just my son being aware and coming to tell me made me like start looking and making sure that the little boy got to where he needs to be safe too. So yes, being aware of your surroundings is a must. A must.
Definitely.
Yeah, most definitely. And I know you be aware of your surroundings because I be seeing like your little skits that you be doing, and it like she had me rolling. Like I was looking at one, and she's like, "Who is that?" I'm like, "Oh, that's Strapped Up P." She's like, "Who?" I'm like, "Strapped Up P." And then I showed her a few videos, and she looked. And when you got mace, did it burn like a motherfucker, or did you was like, okay, whatever?
So not only did it burn, I'm in Alabama, so it was like 100 degrees. So the burn was intensified by the heat during the summer. And, I mean, people don't realize if you get maced in both of your eyes and it's strong mace, you're all the way out the fight. You can't see, you might not be able to breathe. And I mean, just not having your vision, anything can happen. That's why, like, all the women in my family, I tell them, bare minimum, carry some mace because, you know what I'm saying? If you mace somebody, that'll just give you enough time to get up out that situation. That mace is a powerful tool that people tend to overlook. A lot of people like to carry tasers, and the thing about carrying a taser is it might not work. You might not have charged it. One of the prongs might have fell off. That mace just seems to be a lot more reliable. I couldn't see. I had to be directed to my water, to wash it out my face. And even with the water, they say that some mace, when you put water in it to wash it out, it'll intensify the effect. So, I mean, mace will take you all the way out the game. But, you got to be careful because I do security, and we got into a situation when my boss had to mace somebody. He sprayed the dude, and it ricocheted and hit me in the eye. And it kind of took me out the situation, So, you got to be careful, but you want to know the distance that you can use it, and it's effective. But, mace is a powerful tool that people, tend to overlook. Definitely. It ain't no fun when you get mace.
Yeah, I know that you said your supervisor sprayed and actually didn't hit you. Like I was doing security on private property, and the guy we had phone, and I think the name of the brand was like Fox. It was like what, but pretty much it was the phone kind. So it was like I want to say like 87, and we here in Illinois, it'd be real humid. So you sweat, it reactivate. You take a shower, it reactivate. And I remember like I hopped in the shower that night and I ain't get it all off, bro.
Yeah.
When I say I touched my private part down there, hey, I jumped out. She probably don't even remember. I was like, "Yo, my balls hurting, my balls hurting." Like, yo, because it's crazy because if you touch anything, it touch that surface, it transfer. But
yeah.
Yeah, I know the feeling. That's why I was like, did it burn? Like, did it hurt like hell? But the foam can, if I'm not mistaken, I'm thinking it was the Fox. That was the brand.
Yeah. And another thing, like you got long hair, man. That stuff get in your hair. You get to washing it out, boy. You might be in trouble in the shower. For real.
It's one of those, they can't do nothing for you. Like,
yeah.
I mean, you go get water, it reactivates. You sweat, it reactivates. The heat,
you just gotta wait it out. You know what I'm saying? Like you just gotta wait for the effects to cool off. Yeah.
Yeah, most definitely. Hey, she over here laughing at us like, yo, till you get maced, you really don't know. Like, you have to. So
I'm trying to get maced.
Ain't no joke. Yeah. And I lived in Chicago for about 2 years. I lived on 58th and Winchester, 57th and Winchester, 54th and Hermitage, and I mean, it's scary in Chicago, man. It's like a war zone at night.
Yeah, we on the west side, so
Okay.
it's pretty laid back. Like, but you do have they, every hood, every section has its moments, but for the most part, it's pretty much laid back.
Yeah.
Everybody pretty much know everyone. Like, okay, that's
True.
such and such family. That's he's some kin to him, and it's like, okay, it's all love. So
Yeah.
ain't too bad, but I don't know. The South Side is another breed, bro.
I didn't even know I lived in West Inglewood till I had to go to
Oh
the post
yeah,
office, and it was like West Inglewood. I was like, what? What in the world?
yeah,
Yeah, man. From Alabama and Chicago, it was just like, golly. But
yeah.
I had
Even
some real good times out there, though, man. Real good times.
yeah,
Yeah, it's a very fun place. I mean, there's so much you can do here. Our city is very beautiful, but yeah,
Right.
that
man.
crime.
That's everywhere though. So what was the difference like when you moved from here? Well, your transition from Chicago to Alabama, because I
So
know you probably
okay,
went
so
down there when.
I've been to Alabama my whole life pretty much. So, when I moved to Chicago, it was just everything was different, fast pace. You walk into the bus stop, if you don't know where you're walking, you get lost. People
Yeah,
down there, they're not friendly. They say Southern hospitality. You might see someone on the corner and ask them a question, they'll just keep going. They ain't even gonna look at you. So I mean, it's a lot. I would say the food, is a lot different. I I I I don't know, man. Southern cooking is, on a level of its own, but um, the transition, it wasn't that hard. You know what I'm saying? But you just had to really get used to everything. Like,
yeah.
oh, don't be out too late. You know what I'm saying? Especially in Singlewood. But you just, I had a blast though living there. I learned a lot.
Were you here in the wintertime?
Yeah, first time I was ever in snow was in Chicago, and I had tennis shoes on.
Oh yeah, I had
Yeah,
one guy. He was from California. And he was like, I showed him a picture. We had a blizzard like a few years back. It snowed like everything there, right? He was like, he was so like freaked out about it, like seeing it. He like, look, he showed this girl like, yo, that shit. I only saw snow in the movies. He's like, that shit
yeah.
real. That's real. It's real. I'm like, yeah. That's the thing about. I've been doing this every other day of my life, every year. Like, but what? How long we had get snow? Like 3, 4 months, 3.5 months. It's crazy. So
Yeah,
Chicago winters ain't no joke.
nah, it ain't no joke. But what was crazy to me was like when it snowed, it wasn't as cold as when it wasn't snowing for some
yeah,
reason. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like it's
yeah,
Yeah.
yep,
crazy.
yep. Yep, like everyone, we always say like, hey, I deal with the cold, but the snow, no. And then you like, well, when it snow, it be warm, so I have to deal with the snow. I think it's just we have to clean off the car, shovel the snow, shit like
Yeah.
that. But this year, I'm getting me a flamethrower. It's legal to have. Hey, be out there 5 to 10 minutes. Got the whole driveway, stairs, everything
Oh
clear.
man, you could get a flamethrower in Chicago?
It's legal. Well, yep.
Straight
That's
up.
actually it's legal for that reason and that reason only for mountain
Okay
snow.
then.
Yeah, so
True.
yeah, so you might see a video. I might go viral this winter. Like this,
Okay
he
then.
got he got a real life flamethrower. Yeah, so this year I'm most definitely about to get one. Like mountain
Straight
snow.
up.
Like what type of training do you recommend someone like far as like they sit in the class, they get their CCL, they do all the little training that the state requires. Do you like push them to like get more training after that, or is just
I
like
mean,
okay, go to the range and practice?
I think that training should never stop. If it's somebody out there that knows more than you and can feed you good information to be able to protect yourself and your family better, yeah. I think the bare minimum, for anybody who's new to weapons is to get self-defense training and firearm training, like basic pistol training, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, if you want to go further than that, go further than that. But I feel like basic pistol training is a must. And, concealed carry training, because concealed carry training ain't necessarily pistol training, so I think you should get all of those, and it's important, because people be out here not knowing what they're doing with these weapons, and, injuries happen. People don't be knowing they firearm safety. I'm sure you guys see me post videos of people putting their guns up to their head, taking pictures, just, doing stupid shit.
I was on your page and I was checking some of your content out, and I was like, wow. And then when the guy came on, I was like, yeah, it was loaded. When the girl did all that and like, what are you thinking? Yeah. Like, everybody think guns is for show or to act like you tough or like to make somebody feel threatened by you. It's supposed to be to protect yourself, your loved ones. If you have to get in a situation, praying that you never have to even use it. But like you say, if you do, you know that you got it to protect yourself. And these people are posting these videos, making it seem like, oh, it's so cool and I'm tough because I got it. That's not what it's for. And now look at, you ended up going viral because, oh, you don't have the proper training or knowledge to even own a firearm, because if you did, you wouldn't did that, because we all know that you're supposed to, people that have the proper training, that you're supposed to treat every gun like it's loaded. And in this case, yours really was loaded. So
I mean, I've seen crazy stuff. Like one time I saw a video of a guy trying to explain how to take his Glock apart. And you got to pull the little button down and press the trigger at the same time. Dude shot himself in the leg, trying to take his slide off his frame, So, knowing what you're doing is very important, and if you always keep the safety rules, that'll prevent like 99% of mistakes and accidents. Accidents happen, but the more you're aware of, the safety rules that have been set in place, the less likely you are to, cause an accident. And, man, some accidents happen that you can never come back from. People get hurt, people die. You can shoot yourself, you know what I'm saying? So it's just important to understand the safety. And, people get guns and they put in no kind of practice. You may get into a situation where you have to, come from concealment and draw your weapon, but you ain't put in no kind of practice to do that, and you fumble, and you can't draw your weapon when, the time comes for you to draw your weapon. And, I mean, that's why they say practice, makes improvement, because the only way that you can improve is in practice. When people get into these high stress situations and they can't perform under stress because they haven't put in the adequate practice to be able to perform. So, at home with your unloaded weapon, come from concealment, draw your weapon. You know what I'm saying? Dry fire is important. Live fire is important. All of that goes into being able to protect yourself, and I think people tend to just overlook that, and all of that is important.
Well, I know here, I spoke on it like last week as well. The state of Illinois, like, we rarely have ranges that you to actually practice like that. You actually have to like pay, but for the average Joe, it's crazy. Like, they putting like, a dollar price. I understand everyone has to eat, everyone, got to feed their family, but it's more of like, okay, you go through the 16-hour course, the 2 days, that's still not enough. And then when do you have time, just say like the average Joe, like the 9 to 5er, I mean, he don't have the funds to, go to the range every week, go to the range, to actually put live fire down range opposed to just dry firing. You do it all day until like you get some type of like person-to-person contact, drills. Like, you can do it all day, but sometimes you need that practice and that training, like for the real life scenario, like it happened. I stress to my students every time we teach a class, like, hey, after this, get more training, either with me or with someone else that's qualified to do it. And they be looking like, oh, do you do it? No, I'm like, yeah, but you don't come to me I mean, it's other instructors out there, but I tell them that all the time. And then also when we teaching the safety course for the firearm, we actually have holsters there. So we
Right.
literally tell the students like, go grab the holster, put it on your person, get used to it, you know. And sometimes we ask individuals like, what position do you plan on carrying? And majority of the ladies like, I'm just throwing it in my purse. Like, okay, guy snatch your purse, it's gone. All right, you carry 6 o'clock, someone standing behind you, they see it, you don't got eyes in the back of your head. I mean, we see multiple videos on, YouTube that's going viral of, individuals getting they concealed weapon taken from them. Either they go reach for they wallet it in the back pocket, it gets shown, the guy behind them was like, they gotta understand like the perk really don't have anything to lose. And then if
Yeah.
you reaching for a firearm, if you reaching for your firearm, like he definitely know like, yo, it's time to fight. Like 9 times out
Yeah.
of 10, he already made his mind up. Like I gotta shoot this guy with his own gun. That's what it's gonna be. So
Right.
it's one of those. It's a fight for your life at that point. Um, I know like I be seeing you doing little drills and everything. Like, have you like went to like an instructor that actually certified, or you just doing your own
No,
thing?
I've done concealed carry training, basic pistol training. I've done rifle training. I've done security training. I've done all that kind of training, but I still love to just run those kind of drills by myself. None of really the content that I put out, is what's taught because they're not at the range or in training really simulating real life situations. So I kind of just try to simulate real life situations based off of the type of training that I've gotten. You know what I'm saying?
This is part of the section of the show. 3 things that you want the listeners to know about peace. Like 3 things that you want the listeners to know that they don't know about seeing your content, or even if they is following you, that they don't know.
um
You put me on the
Golly.
spot.
I feel so you put me on the spot. I'm armed and dangerous, but I'm a very humble person. I hope to never use my firearm, but I train every single day like I'm gonna use my firearm. Um, I got a lot to live for. I'm a single parent. I own a business, so one reason why I stress having a firearm is because people don't care what you got going on, so I just, have to protect everything that I got going on. I done been in some real situations where if I had a firearm, the outcomes might have been different. People don't know that. I got robbed before, and I had to jump out the car to, get away. I done been shot at before. So I feel like everything I do right now is because in the past, like I started carrying when I was 28, so I do this now so that maybe I can touch somebody and be like, oh, you know what, I don't have any felonies, I can own a gun, let me get one and get some training. So I just about me, I'm all about reaching out to other people and trying to help other people. I don't do this, for the content or for the followers, or I do this so, that maybe I can help somebody one day. And it's plenty of people who, ran into my page and now they getting training, you know what I'm saying? So, I don't think people think or know that I'm really doing this to touch the Black community in a positive manner with firearms, because everybody looking at us like we thugs and gangsters, but most of us ain't like that.
Yeah, true, true, true. And also, I know you said you're a single parent.
Yeah.
Are you taking the steps to, I don't know how old, your child is.
My
You
daughter
taking,
5.
oh, 5? Are you taking the steps to train her or introducing her to the firearm, or you just gonna wait till she's a little older?
I'm gonna probably wait till she about 10 years old. Yeah.
You said 5. That's crazy because that's the age that my oldest son that I started teaching him, and I was introducing him, and it was a little earlier for my younger son because I was like, okay, my oldest son knows, but I started a little earlier with my youngest son due to the fact that he's more active, like he's more, running through the house. He's more curious.
Yeah.
He goes in places he shouldn't be going. And I was like, okay, I'm just let him know. And then my oldest son was like, well, I knew we always had one. I just didn't know where it was at, things in that nature. So it was more, I wanted to introduce them to it early on. So if they did see it, they'd be like, okay, we know not to touch it. Okay, it's not show and tell when, we have guests over and the kids upstairs or they in the other room and, parents being parents, they partying, not really, paying attention to the kids.
Yeah, so. But we also got them locked up safe.
Right. Yeah. Well, you know what? When you said introduce, I actually have because, my daughter knows that it's weapons in the house. Like if daddy cleaning his gun and he leave it on the bed, she knows to run and get me and say, daddy, your gun's on the bed. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I've somewhat introduced her to them. Like she knows, that if she sees a weapon that she don't touch it. You know what I'm saying? She go and find her daddy, so that he can put it up or whatever. So, in a way I have, but I guess, I'm a little timid and scared of, how do I actually introduce her to them? You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. Well, how did I do it? I just showed my oldest, I was like, hey, come here right quick,
Sorry. And the oldest one was different though, because he was in love with Nerf guns.
Yeah, he was in love with Nerf guns. Yeah. He was more like, okay, firearm, he knew the mechanics, but when he picked it up, he's like, oh, it's real heavy. I'm like, yeah. And it's ironic because I didn't have to tell them, like, don't put your finger on the trigger. It was like I didn't even tell them, like, when they grabbed it, it was like they picked it up. And when I introduced it to them, I let them, pick it up and I corrected the issue that, that I saw. And first thing was never, in the finger in the trigger guard or near the trigger. I was like, oh, okay. So,
right.
And as parents, we always trying to like, okay, we don't want to introduce this to them, in that nature. But sometimes earlier is better. We see time and time that, I think it's a video of, I think, two cousins, a girl and, her boy cousin. I think they in the closet, the washroom.
I think they were in the closet.
And the gun goes off, and the parents in the other room. I really don't know the back detail of it, but it happened on live, and it's like everything is like them the stories that we was growing up, we heard about it, or you walking to school, or your mom's like, oh, this happened, that happened. Now it's more like we live in a day of era, like you open up YouTube, you open up your phone. The kids see it. So it's like, there's no way to like hide it from them. And I'd rather be the one to introduce them to it, and at least they have a better explanation than, oh, snap, I was watching, Ryan, and what's the other one? CJ, what?
I mean, their content is different.
No. And all of a sudden, it pops up, and then they wondering like, oh, okay, mom, dad got guns. I mean,
is that really what they do?
That's really what they do. Just take the curiosity out of it was my biggest thing.
So just introducing it basically, but the safety part.
Yeah, safety part. Yeah. It was just a learning experience for him. So
true.
More than anything.
I was just talking to him.
Yeah.
Oh man, I had a blast talking to y'all.
I did too. Watching your content, I'm gonna keep watching it because you do have some information on there.
Appreciate it.
I don't know about getting maced. I ain't said yet.
We gotta mace him. She gotta get maced.
I ain't said yet.
Oh, that'd be a good video. Go mace.
It's worth it because if you carry it, you need to know how it feels. I feel like it's worth it getting maced.
Yeah, we definitely got to mace.
Well, you go first. How about I mace you?
Nah, I do you first because I already did mace, so I know how it feels. I mace you first, and then you go viral, and then you like, okay, my turn. How about that?
I'll think about it.
So where can the listeners find you at, P?
I'm at Strapped Up TV, all one word. And you can find me on Facebook at Paris, Peris, Browder, Browder. And, you know, anybody that want to talk, chat, have any questions about anything, you can always hit me up. I'm always available to try to talk when I can. And I just want everybody to know I love the people and I'm here for the people. Power to the people.
Yes, my brother.
Down with us, taking the time, a part of our podcast, the movement. But we appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, man, I appreciate being here.